Should I stretch? Should I not stretch? Before my workout, after, and for how long? If you've ever felt totally confused by all the conflicting advice out there about stretching, you are definitely not alone. So let's cut right through all that noise with a simple, science-backed guide to finally get it right.
Okay, that's a pretty bold question, I know. But what if I told you that the way most of us were taught to stretch, that classic hold your toe touch before a run, might actually be making us weaker and slower, right when we need to be at our best? Let's figure out if your warm-up is helping you or if it's actually holding you back.
For years, we've all seen the same thing in every gym on every track field. Athletes holding these long, static stretches before they even start moving. It feels like you're doing something good for your body, right? Well, it turns out the science tells a very, very different story.
I mean, this was the conventional wisdom for as long as I can remember. It was drilled into our heads in gym class and by our coaches. The logic seems simple enough. Lengthen the muscle before you use it, and you'll keep it safe. It's a really intuitive idea, but as we're about to find out, sometimes our intuition can lead us way off track.
Now, this isn't just one person's opinion or some new fitness fad. We're about to dive into a major systematic review by Behm and his colleagues. These guys analyzed over 100, that's right, 100 different studies to get to the truth about what stretching actually does to our bodies before we exercise. Simply put, we have the receipts. And here it is, the big bombshell finding from that massive review. When you do those long, static stretches, the kind where you just hold it and relax, right before you work out, it can actually have negative effects on your performance. It doesn't help you, it can literally hinder you. And they even put a number on it. On average, you're looking at a 3.7% reduction in performance. Now, I know, 3.7% might not sound like a huge, world-ending number. But in any competitive sport, or even if you're just trying to hit a new personal best, that is a significant drop in your strength and power.
So this slide just lays it all out perfectly. On the left, you've got static stretching before a workout. It basically tells your muscles, hey, time to relax, power down. But on the right, you have dynamic stretching, which does the complete opposite. It wakes your muscles up, it rehearses the movements you're about to do, and get this, it can actually improve your performance by about 1.3%.
All right, so if static stretching is officially out for our warm-up, what's in? The answer is all about dynamic movement. The whole point of a warm-up isn't just to, get warm, it's to prepare your body specifically for the work it's about to do.
So let's be super clear about what dynamic means here. This isn't just bouncing around uncontrollably. We're talking about controlled movements that gradually increase your range of motion and your speed. Think of it like a dress rehearsal for your workout. It wakes up your nervous system and gets blood flowing to all the right places.
And here are some super practical examples you can start using, like today. You know these. Things like high knees, butt kickers, big arm circles, walking lunges with a little twist. The key here is that they are all active and functional. You are moving, not just holding a position. And that's what gets your body ready for action. Now, if you want another amazing technique to add to your warm-up toolbox, check this out. Active Isolated Stretching, or AIS for short. It's a bit more precise than just general dynamic stretching, but it follows the exact same principle of active movement. The method is actually really simple, but it's so powerful. To stretch a muscle, like your hamstring, you actively contract the muscle on the opposite side, so your quad. But you only hold that peak stretch for 2 seconds. Just 1, 2, then release. And you repeat that for about 8 to 10 reps. It's quick, it's active, and it is incredibly effective. Okay, so we have totally revolutionized our warm-up. But hold on, that doesn't mean static stretching is useless. Not at all. It just means we've been using it at the completely wrong time. Its real power comes after the workout, during your cool down, when the goal is to increase your long-term flexibility. So let's properly define static stretching. This is that classic move where you lengthen a muscle until you feel some mild tension, and then you just hold it there. After a workout, your muscles are warm and much more pliable, which makes this the absolute perfect time to work on improving your overall range of motion. But how long should you actually hold it? Well, for most of us, 15 to 30 seconds per stretch is the sweet spot. The research shows that going much longer than 45 seconds doesn't really give you much extra benefit. Now, if you're an advanced athlete with a very specific goal, like a gymnast working on their splits, then yeah, longer holds can be really effective, but that's a different story. Now, if you want to seriously accelerate your flexibility gains, let me introduce you to PNF. Yeah, I know. Proprioceptive neuromuscular facilitation is a mouthful, but it's this amazing technique that kind of tricks your nervous system into letting you get a much deeper stretch. It is widely considered one of the fastest and most effective methods out there.
It sounds really complex, but here's how the most common type works. First, you get into a normal stretch. Then, you tense that stretched muscle and push against something, like a partner or a strap, for about 10 seconds without actually moving. Then you relax completely, and you will literally feel that you can move deeper into the stretch. You repeat that a few times, and the results are, well, they're often immediate and pretty impressive.
And one more pro tip for your cooldown: myofascial release, which you probably know as foam rolling or using a massage ball. This is another super effective method. It targets the fascia, that's the web of connective tissue around your muscles, to release tension and really improve your mobility.
And hey, don't just take my word for it. Look at this data. A study on football players compared MFR to just regular passive stretching and found that MFR was way more effective for improving calf flexibility over 4 weeks. The MFR group saw nearly double the improvement. I mean, the numbers speak for themselves.
Okay, we have covered a ton of ground. We've busted the myths, we've looked at the science, and we've gone through a bunch of different techniques. So let's put it all together into a simple, practical routine that you can start using for every single workout.
And here it is. This is your cheat sheet. You might want to screenshot this one. It's so simple. In your warm-up, your goal is to prepare for activity, so you're going to use dynamic stretches and maybe some AIS. Then, in your cool-down, your goal is to increase flexibility. That's the time for your static stretches, and if you're feeling ambitious, those powerful P&F techniques.
So, we've just corrected a really fundamental piece of the fitness puzzle that, let's be honest, many of us were getting wrong. And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? If we were so mistaken about something as basic as stretching, what other common fitness rules might be worth taking a closer look at? What have you been taking for granted?